I'm super excited about this one. This is the very first Snapdragon X Elite laptop that I've got the chance to review. This is the fastest, most intelligent Windows PC ever. Most importantly, this can finally get good battery life. You can use it untethered. You're getting great performance, little throttling. You can actually use this as an intended laptop, fully unplugged. This is the brand new ASUS Vivobook S15. This is the fastest, most intelligent Windows PC ever. It's almost like a new AI era has begun. Like I mentioned, it's rocking the Snapdragon X Elite architecture. It is Copilot plus PC. I'm gonna get right into the specs. It's rocking a 12-core CPU, 45-watt TDP. It's got 32 gigs of RAM with a terabyte of space. It's priced at $1299, so right on par with the M3 MacBook Air. Very similar, and like I said, the biggest test that everyone wants to know is the battery life. And they're saying around 18 hours, which is hefty, and I would say that's the biggest performance gap from, say, like a MacBook to any Windows-based PC. You can obviously use that MacBook for that long time. For this, with heavy use, or I guess, day-to-day tasks, I'm rocking 12 plus, which is honestly really good for a Windows PC, like one of the best that I've used. These are obviously all ARM-based apps that I'm using. They're obviously paired to be efficient. So stuff like Photoshop, it's quick. The biggest difference, honestly, is just browsing the net. I'm using Edge as a browser. It's just like instantaneous. It almost reminds me like a mobile-based thing. Of course, I was using Edge, but one of the snappier responses is just how quick this is to turn off or on just from sleep. So obviously off, and pressing back on. It is like instantaneously quick. I can load this up. It feels like a mobile experience. So obviously that's in part with the new chip inside. Big props to Snapdragon. So you can leave this on all the time without that classic worry of a Windows PC kind of bogging down on you and slowing down. You never know how long it'll take to start back up. So the performance of it, it's like quick, it's snappy. It's just being honestly refreshingly impressive, and I've reviewed a ton of laptops as we've gone through Computex, as we've kind of gone through Q1, Q2 of this year. It's one of the quicker experiences that I've had. And keep in mind, for that battery life, we are rocking like a 3K panel. It's 120 hertz, it's OLED. It's a beautiful panel for anything like media consumption. Things just look nice and inky. It's 100% in the DCI-P3 color space. It's a great panel. So kind of keep that in mind when you're comparing it. And once again, it's 1.2 times faster CPU performance than the M3 MacBook Air. So it's a very capable machine. And for ASUS, this is a full metal body design. It feels nice and solid, in no way cheap. You've got the full slots of I/O on the side. So full HDMI, 2 USB-C ports, micro SD card slot, and headphone jack. Maybe my only gripe is to get that full size. They've got enough space for it. And on the other side, 2 USB-A ports. It's nice and minimal with that aluminum feel. And of course, the ASUS Vivobook in just small writing on the side. When you open it up, 180 degrees, so you can easily plug this into any sort of display that you have at home. And the keyboard is obviously nice enough to use, nice enough to type on, and you've got some nice clickiness on the actual trackpad. Slightly off center, as we have a small little number pad, which I'm always a fan of with laptops on the side. It is RGB lighting, just one color, which you can change within the ASUS settings. Speakers are Harman Kardon, but unfortunately they are downwards firing. Maybe it's the weakest point of the laptop. Like, it's good, but it's not that deep. And you can also see the rest of the thermal venting there, as well as on the back. And they're using ASUS's ice cool thermal tech. So they have 2 ice blades, essentially they're fans, and 2 heat pipes. You saw all the venting. And the nice thing with regular like day-to-day use, like your productivity stuff, like when you're responding to emails, word processing, browsing the net, just watching any sort of content, it is like dead silent, which obviously I love. When you're starting to push it, when you're using those ARM-based apps, like a lot of Lightroom, I've been doing a lot of edits, all of my photos in my past little while I've been traveling. You can hear the fan ramp up, but you're still getting most of that performance. Like I would say 95, 98% of the performance with this unplugged, which you couldn't really do before. I'm able to take this on a plane. I've already done over 100,000 miles. We're around halfway through the year. I'm able to work on this without having to worry about charging it. And even for a full-fledged flight from, say, here to Taipei, I can use this for the majority of the time. But I would say where this rightly so doesn't do well is on that old architecture for x86 base apps. So, when you're trying to game on this, even some basic things like Fortnite, Call of Duty, obviously a no-no. Most AAA titles are not ARM-based, so you just have to keep that in mind. This is a productivity-based laptop, and as long as you stay in that ARM space, you will be a very, very happy camper. Obviously, this being a Copilot plus PC laptop, it has that Microsoft Copilot button. You have all of the AI features. One of the first ones, which just maybe showcases how bad of an artist I am. So within Paint, it's got co-create. So this is like the extent of my skills, like drawing a house in a field. Obviously it's like on par with a 3-year-old, but with this co-create button, I can actually create something that looks way better. You can see on the side. And what I actually like, they have this little creativity slider, which kind of is like an anti-cheater. If I reduce that to say like 60%, you can see that it's a bit more like realistic. I could, like with a lot of work, could do that compared to, you know, if you slide that back all the way to near max. Obviously, I could not recreate that even with the most advanced tutorials and following them. Like I am that bad. So super dope. ASUS wise, there's a couple AI tools. It's AI adaptive dimming and adaptive lock. So that's obviously with these little sensors in front. So if you walk away from your laptop, it will automatically dim and lock, and vice versa. When you come closer to it, your computer will unlock and you can use it. It has a lot of the voice isolation or voice canceling when you're on, say, like a call using the webcam, which has this nice little privacy switch. If you've got something going on in the background, like a baby crying, like a vacuum, it'll help isolate your voice, which is super handy. The one thing that I'm really excited to test is recall. So when you're technically using a computer at any given point, you'll have like a timeline you can kind of scrub through from before what you actually did on your computer. That update should be coming to this device shortly. I think that will be super handy, but yeah, a lot of obviously AI features like we've seen this entire year rolling into this device. And kind of last but not least, all that is kind of packed into, like I said, all metal chassis design. So the weight is still totally usable. It's 1.42 kilograms, and I'm actually heading out on a trip to Paris actually for the Olympics coming up. So I'll bring this, I'll let you know my actual travel thoughts. Battery wise, like I mentioned, it's 70 watt hours, but I will be pushing this completely like unplugged when I'm on that plane ride. And yeah, overall a really cool package. And once again, not too expensive comparatively to what else you're getting. It's that battery life, which I think is the best like feature of this. It's been cool to test out, you know, something new. Obviously laptops have been around forever, but that Snapdragon X Elite, I know that there's been a lot of hype around their compute platform. It has lived up decently well to that. If you have any other thoughts, let me know down below in the comments. Are you interested in, you know, something like this? I feel like the laptop game slash space has kind of been blown a bit open in that sense, which is always fun as being a techie. And I will catch the rest of you when I'm back from my trip, and we'll let you know how this survived unplugged. Peace.